Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
All right, time to spill the beans with Dan Cole to talk about some companies to watch.
Hey, good morning, Ryan. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to Companies to Watch, a segment where we spotlight and stock you up with ideas of listed companies that will call for attention. So we're looking at market trends to risks, as well as hidden gems or warning signs to steer clear of. 8855-0893. Text us. Be part of the conversation and tell us whether you think it's going to be a hot or not. All right, Ryan. Now, today, we're returning to the world of sauces. What kind of sauce do you like?
Mayo. Mayo?
Oh, you're a mayo
ketchup.
guy?
Yeah.
Ketchup?
Mix it all up.
Chili?
All together, yeah.
Well, I'm more of a garlic chili guy. You know, the one from McDonald's? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig those kinds. But if you open up your wardrobe or your cupboard, what do you normally find in there? What kind of ketchup brands?
Well, the go-to, I think, for many people will be Heinz, right? That's the iconic bottle and that red. I'm not sure how to describe it. There is a special color that they have that a lot of folks can replicate.
That's one. I think a lot of us can also think about, the Maggi ketchup,
Yeah.
the yellow bottle. But no, we're not going local. Today we're turning to Kraft Heinz. Now, if you open up your fridge and cupboard, what kind of Heinz product would you normally find? For myself, I would find a ketchup, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think there are some other sauces like mayo as well.
Baked beans.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
also got the cheese slices. So I think if you've got a kid in the house, it's quite common for you to have a lot of Kraft Heinz products, from canned food to the refrigerated stuff. So it's a whole suite of products.
That's right. And the reason why I've brought this company to our attention today is because the maker of sauces and convenience foods is poised to break itself up after years of faltering sales and falling share price. It seems like a lot of people aren't liking their ketchup. And what would mark the end of a notoriously unsuccessful business combination? They will be spinning off a large part of the grocery food business acquired a decade ago with the merger of the H.J. Heinz and Kraft Foods. So let's dive into the details. A major corporate restructuring to separate its grocery division from its more profitable FMCG sectors, such as their sauces. So the tomato company is considering spinning off a large portion of its grocery business into a separate entity, and the transaction thus far has been valued at up to $20 billion. So if you shop for Kraft brands, you might be familiar with certain names like mac and cheese or Ida, Philadelphia cream cheese, Oscar Mayer, Capri-Sun, and the list goes on. Any of them rings a bell to you, Ryan?
Yeah, all of them actually. I think I grew up with many of these brands, so not a stranger to me.
You're quite a saucy guy, Ryan. Now, this strategic move aims to streamline operations and focus investments on higher margin products. No final decision has been made so far, but the potential deal reflects mounting pressure on consumer goods giants to boost their shareholder returns amid weakening consumer demand. Do you find yourself shopping less for these kind of consumer goods?
Yeah, and also when I even go shopping for these consumer goods, I go for the house brands now, the cheaper, what do you call it? Versions of what I used to buy.
Yep, and that's a fair point considering how cost of living is increasing, inflation is still at high. So, of course, this would be an alternative option for many of us out there. So the possible split was first reported by the Wall Street Journal, and that likely leaves Kraft Heinz with brands like Heinz Ketchup and Grey Poupon Mustard. I don't think I've heard of that one before. While legacy Kraft branded items would go to the new company. So the company is currently valued at approximately $32 billion. And like what I've mentioned, has been grappling with evolving consumer preferences, especially amid the growing demand for healthier food options. And top that off with financial pressures from inflation and shifting shopping habits, it seems like this isn't painting a very nice look for them. So in an effort to try to adapt to these market dynamics, they did introduce a zero salt and sugar ketchup, but I think it's still not enough to address the declining sales and stiffening competition within the market.
Yeah, a couple of new innovations. I've also seen zero calories sauces have as well.
Wow.
I think it's
How's it
going
work?
into... They use alternative sugars or
Yeah.
sweeteners.
Let's ask our friend
replace it.
later, Audrey, because she's on a very strict diet, so maybe this might be an option for her. So if we look at, their past and the history, Buffett's investment company Berkshire Hathaway had bought Heinz back in 2013 in a co-investment with private equity firm 3G Capital. So the two of them then made the bid for the listed Kraft Foods in 2015, emerging with half of the resulting mayo to macaroni cheese maker. So you can see how both of them just merged back, I think more than a decade ago, in hopes of bringing two mega companies or food companies together and potentially just breaking the market. So while the Kraft Heinz combination appeared to go well quite briefly, sales and profits began flagging within just a couple of years. And it didn't exactly go well because after painful asset write-downs and profit warnings, 3G backed out. And Buffett stayed put, though, admitting that he did overpaid for the two companies.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it went well.
Yeah.
So not a great deal.
Oh, yes, certainly not one. In fact, numerous efforts since have failed to reignite growth. Company's share price, adjusted for subsequent dividends, recorded its highest monthly close back in May of 2017 at $63.44. But it has not returned to that level ever since. And if you zoom in the numbers, though, Buffett appeared to have done better than one might expect, Ryan. Apparently, Berkshire Hathaway paid about $4.3 billion for its stake in Heinz. More cash added during the merger with Kraft took the total to $9.8 billion. Today, its 27% stake in Kraft Heinz is worth $8.8 billion. So he did manage to multiply that by 2. But Buffett's firm has also received about $6.3 billion of dividends. So in total, he's up nearly 60% on his ordinary shares. So I guess this is one of the other cases of how you shouldn't bet against one of the greatest investors of our time.
Yeah, a bit of a consolation prize, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things.
Certainly so. And if we look at how their share price has been performing year to date, it's down about 11%. Last traded at about $21.12. For shareholders, no, it's not exactly good news for them, because for those who stuck around and received a $10 billion payment when the merger happened and about $13 billion in regular dividends and buybacks since, it seems like they've only seen an 8% return over the past decade, right? So it seems like this might not have been a very good investment for them. Analysts say that other packaged food makers may also eventually follow suit as the industry faces a tough mix of inflationary headwinds, cost-conscious consumers like yourself, and demand for healthier, fresher alternatives. Well, that being said, I think having considered all factors and having considered, this might turn out for Kraft Heinz, my verdict for today has got to be a nut. What about you, Ryan?
That sound. Okay, I probably will join you there with how the consumer space is under pressure.
Yeah.
And there isn't really a lot going right now for Kraft Heinz to sort of bounce back. So, yeah, I'll join you there.
All right, and that pretty much does it for our analysis of today's stock in focus, Kraft Heinz. All right, Ryan, here's some fun facts about, Heinz ketchup. Did you know that many of us struggle to pour the ketchup out, but it's actually all part of the design? The condiment is meant to pour at a speed of 0.028 miles per hour, which is roughly the average speed of a garden snail. So quality assurance tests that these bottles are set in place to ensure that they all have the same viscosity. So it helps you to enjoy the spread even more.
Oh, attention to detail. I like that.
Yeah, that's quite cool, right? So why is it easy to tell when you are using the wrong sauce?
How?
Because hindsight is 2020. What type of tomato smells best?
Heinz.
You didn't even try for this, right? Aroma.
Okay. Aroma.
Yeah, and that's all we have for Kraft Heinz.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.